Before you ever saw the city clearly, you could already feel it pulling you in, because the water narrowed and the light revealed shapes that felt intentional, not accidental, as if the land itself had been arranged to receive you on its own terms, with canoes slowing and ripples flattening, the lake suddenly behaving less like nature and more like a boundary you were being allowed to cross. As floating gardens appeared, growing food on water, quietly proving that this place didn't adapt to its environment. It redesigned it. And when the stone causeway rose ahead, straight and uncompromising, it became clear that movement here was never meant to wander, only to lead into noise, motion, and scale, where thousands traded at once, not in chaos, but inside a system so large it felt like the city had built a second heart, where value was measured carefully, weighed openly, and enforced without spectacle.
This one is fair.
Because control here didn't need to announce itself. It appeared instead through beauty, where feathers became authority, color became rank, and craftsmanship turned status into something visible. But beneath that refinement waited discipline, as warriors prepared not for display, but for a world that expected resistance, standing above you, catching the sun, reminding you that hierarchy here was not subtle. It was designed to be seen. And the moment you crossed into the sacred precinct, the city's noise dropped away, as if sound itself understood it no longer belonged. Because rising ahead was the Templo Mayor, a man-made mountain that did not invite attention. It commanded it, as incense climbed in thick white columns, revealing that even the invisible followed rules inside this space, where sharpness was perfected with intention, because precision mattered when belief carried consequences, and nothing here was left to memory alone, as history was recorded, encoded, and preserved without needing spoken words, while fresh water arrived like tribute, proving the city refused to accept the limits of its own geography, and movement slowed again, reflections multiplying buildings until the city felt suspended between reality and intention, where even labor blended into the system, and the lake itself worked to sustain the design. Because beneath ceremony and power, families lived ordinary lives inside an extraordinary plan, with stone speaking through symbols, declaring meaning without explanation, as distant worlds arrived compressed into bundles, proof that influence here reached far beyond the lake, because freedom was supervised, and order disguised itself as fairness. And once again, every path converged, reminding you that no matter where you came from, the city decided where you went, as offerings moved forward with ritual precision, signaling that negotiation with the divine had already begun. And when night arrived, fire replaced sunlight, rewriting the city in shadow and fear, as beauty softened the surface, reflections calming the water, while power remained untouched beneath, with stone glowing like heated metal, daring ascent rather than inviting it, because rhythm here was not entertainment, it was coordination, made audible as status announced itself without apology, turning wealth into authority, where power waited calmly, knowing it did not need to move quickly, until from above, the city revealed itself as a single system, every element aligned, prepared for resistance that had not yet arrived, because endurance was assumed, as torchlight fractured across water, multiplying the city into something unreal, while sound traveled farther than sight, organizing space through vibration, where color declared allegiance and geometry reinforced obedience. As families lived quietly beneath sacred shadows they did not control, and the temple sharpened at night, becoming certainty instead of stone, because storms were expected, absorbed, and endured, as water polished stone and the city emerged unchanged, because the day itself did not begin without permission. And once you understood that, you understood the truth. This city was not built to survive. It was built to command. Tenochtitlan was erased in a single generation, but far to the east, one city vanished quietly, carved into stone and forgotten by time.